We will now begin the pre-meeting for the October 2nd, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Do we have someone to go over the agenda this evening?
Good evening, everyone. All right, first off on our agenda, we do have old business. This is items 1A and 1B. This is a request for approval of a preliminary plat for a residential development with 68 townhomes and 5 commercial lots at 1000 Landing Circle, right off of Highway K. The applicant is proposing 17 buildings. Each of those buildings will be a 4-unit townhome. There's one common ground lot, which includes the detention basin and the mail kiosks for the residential area. The existing Circle K gas station on the corner will be one of the 5 proposed commercial lots. So there are 4 vacant lots remaining. At this time, none of them have a proposed user. As part of this development, Landing Circle will be widened and improved. This was originally the plan for this street when the rest of the site developed, so they are following through on that. That widened street will tie into a proposed road that will connect to Highway K across from Market Center Boulevard. On the preliminary plat, staff would like to add one condition stating provide a sidewalk on lot 16 along Common Access B. On the next couple slides, I can show where that's at. So staff is recommending approval of the preliminary plat with some of these following conditions. Building permits for 2 of the vacant commercial lots shall be issued prior to or concurrently with the issuance of building permits for any residential lot. So we want to see 2 of those commercial lots be constructed before the residential gets going. And the cul-de-sac needs to be a school bus turnaround. Provide a letter from the school district and fire district indicating that they approve the size of the cul-de-sac. Indicate where school bus stop will be, as there are no public through streets. So here is the layout for the site. You can see the vacant commercial lots over here. This is the existing gas station, which will be put onto its own lot. Over here, this is Common Access B. So we would like a sidewalk connecting just right through here. This is a private street. And then, so there's no way to get through here without needing to turn around at the cul-de-sac or go through a private street. School buses don't like going down the private streets or the cul-de-sacs like that. So that's why we would like to know where the school bus stop is. Here's a closer look at the residential portion of it. You can see all the buildings are the 4 units. And again, here is the section of sidewalk that we would like added. Here are the elevations of the townhome units. Obviously, there would be 4 of them next to each other as one building, but that's what the elevations look like. So any questions on this plan?
Mayor?
Ethan or David, one of you. For the folks, the new folks are up here. This used to be apartments, and I believe
Correct.
It was how many? 200?
Yeah, right over 200 apartments. A couple years ago, we had approved a plan for about 200 apartments on this site. They were keeping this sort of connection. It was more kind of a rounded connection with commercial lots along here. At one point, there were some multi-use buildings with commercial and residential above it. Since then, it has gone through different stages of approvals and nothing really moved forward with it other than bringing in some dirt to the site. So this new plan is substantially less residential units with still the same amount of commercial area. So yeah,
and the apartments were 4-story. They were 4-story. Now it's just regular.
Yeah.
houses,
Yeah,
basically.
this is significantly less of a residential demand on this site, so.
My other question, with one of the conditions says building permit, is that occupancy permit, or are they just going to build the commercial building?
It would be the building permit to construct the building. So that would be,
Whether if they don't have a user, is Circle K going to they're going to say that's one user? Because you're saying you have 5 lots and Circle K is one of the users.
No, we're not even counting Circle K. It's got to be 2 new buildings.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure, and it's just the building permit, not the occupancy permit.
The building permit is what.
Because they said you don't have anybody coming in yet. So it's just the building permit, so they can build the building and then, okay.
yeah, I guess theoretically, this would allow for a spec commercial building.
Yes, Councilman Howard, or Commissioner Howard, sorry.
I mean, we have building permits we issue all the time that just evaporate. So I mean, there's no guarantee that we're going to have any commercial here anytime in soon.
That's true. I will say there are substantial review and application fees for construction plans and building permits, so that is part incentive for them to follow through and actually construct it. I don't imagine they'd want to hold on to this land for too long.
And
I get what you're saying.
Mr. Howard, I can tell you, the developer, we've had meetings with them, and they know exactly what my thoughts are and the councilman's thoughts are on doing the commercial there, so they know very well what our expectations are of them. I'm just letting you know.
I know what you're saying. I mean, we had a similar case down at the apartments all the way down on South K. Had the commercial lot, they've even come in and gotten approved for that site plan, but nothing's happened with it. So, and we had the same concerns when we approved the apartments. So, I mean, while this would be hopeful, it's a guarantee there's going to be some commercial.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee with it.
I don't know if we had a condition on that apartment at the south end of K for them to construct the commercial before they could construct the residential.
I don't remember there was a condition, but it was expressed that we really
Yeah.
expected them.
Well, I think it's going to stay commercial, and you're not changing it to go back to residential. It's staying commercial.
We've had that happen a few times too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions or comments, let's go on to the next item.
Okay. All right, that takes us to new business. Items 1A, 1B, and 1C. The applicant has requested to table that, so nothing to talk about on that one. That takes us to new business items 2A and 2B. This is a request for a conditional use permit for the sale and service of alcohol by the drink at 35 O'Fallon Square. They are proposing to open a bar that will also be open in the mornings for coffee. No food will be made on site, and staff is recommending approval with our standard conditional use permit conditions. So, any questions on that?
Doesn't look like it at this time, so let's go on to the next item.
Next is new business item 3A. This is a request for a site plan approval for a bank on Lot B of Plat 10 of the Streets of Caledonia on the south side of Highway DD. I want to say last month or the month before, we had a preliminary plat that came through to create a new lot on the south side of DD. This is one of those new lots. They are proposing a 4,400 square foot building for the Bank of Old Monroe. And as part of that building, there will be 3 drive-through lanes at the back of the building. They're also showing a rear access drive. That's not part of this approval. I believe next month they're coming through with a site plan for that backage road. So that'll be covered next month. So staff is recommending approval of the site plan with some of the following conditions. Show screening for any HVAC or mechanical units that are outdoors. Streetlights need to be added at the intersection of the access road and the public roadway. Revise the trash enclosure to include a passive entrance or man door, and provide a 5-foot wide sidewalk when adjacent to the curb or 10-foot wide trail that needs to be outside of the right-of-way along Highway DD, and to provide a 10-foot trail along Highway DD. Here's the site plan. This is that access that we were talking about to add a light. Same situation down here. This is that backage road that I was referencing. That's going to come through as its own site plan because they're not showing the whole thing with this plan. So that should be coming next month. And here are the elevations of the building. So, any questions on this one?
Oh, yes, Councilman.
Thank you. Regarding the 10-foot trail along DD, on the notes that you have there, to be located outside of the right-of-way, I don't see how that's possible to fit without it being in the right-of-way based on where the right-of-way line is there.
So there is a 10-foot parking setback from the property line. Let's see, this black dotted line here is the 25-foot building setback. So it might need to be butted up against the back of the right-of-way to fit there. They might need to ask MoDOT for approval to have a portion of it in right-of-way, maybe. I know they don't like having sidewalks or trails in their right-of-way, so we've talked with the developer on it a little bit. They're not a huge fan of that condition, but we think that it's important. We've been looking at trail connectivity throughout the whole city pretty much, and where we would like to see trails put, and along Highway DD we think is a good place for a trail. So there's one on the other side
Yeah, I agree with
of the road. So
Sorry. I agree with the connectivity of the trails. The other side of the highway certainly seems like a better space for a 10-foot trail, especially connecting the O'Day Park in the future. You're still going to worry about crossing DD with it being on this side, and it isn't connecting to anything, especially since it's not at the Mobile on the Run site or the Barron site. And then to the other side, you're into residential backyards on the other side of Dalriada. So I don't see what the 10-foot trail connects on this side of the road. On the other side, it makes great sense to have that.
yeah, we looked at that as well, especially with the gas station and the swim school. Those sites do sit down pretty far down in the hole from where DD is much higher. We looked back through our review notes, and a trail along there never really came up because it never made sense with such a big grade difference and where the property line is.
And then it goes to the highway.
And that close to the highway. So we saw it a little differently here because some of these other lots we've heard that they're going to be coming soon. So we'd have this whole, all the way across that section of land there. There's a sidewalk existing already coming down the side into the neighborhoods here. So to connect, to this section here, all the way along the front, back in down, see Caledonia Drive on that side, and then, any future connection to the west. I think, we'd like to have that connection there for any, future extension possibilities. If we don't, get something now, then it's going to be much harder to come back and get that in the future if the city wanted to put that in. So.
Yeah, and I mean, the 4-foot wide sidewalk is already in place along Dalriada, and has a few crossing spaces with intersecting streets that connects all the way around through the back of the gas station.
Yeah.
I just don't see the purpose of the 10-foot trail.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? let's go on to the next item.
Okay. All right, next, new business, items 4A, 4B, and 4C. This is a request for a rezoning from R1 Single Family Downtown Overlay to R3 Medium Density Residential Downtown Overlay, and a site plan for a 16-unit residential development. The applicant is proposing to construct 2 8-unit townhome buildings. These units are for rent as there's no public street frontage. The site sits back behind off Sondren. Access to the site is proposed through 409 Sondren. Excuse me. An existing access agreement to the site has not been located, but the applicant is working with the property owner of 409 Sondren to ensure legal cross-access to the site. If you look at an aerial image, you can see that there is a drive back there, but nothing formal, so they are working on that. During the review process, staff discovered a large amount of fill was brought into the site over the past few years, significantly altering the topography. The engineer estimates that up to 10 feet of fill was placed in different areas on the site. This work was all done without a permit, so retroactive permits or corrective measures may be required prior to the development. So we're going to request more information on that during construction plan review.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Seymour.
thank you. So that was not engineered fill that went in?
Correct, yeah.
Now, can we have, we can require them to make sure that that's compaction?
I believe so, yeah. Staff has no record of any grading operations that were permitted or anything like that. So this was all done without a permit. I believe as part of the, I guess part of the condition was to provide more documentation on it. I would assume that compaction, different, information like that is what we would be requesting. That will go through our engineering department. So.
Let me ask you, if I was to do this, would there be an issue with the city? Would the city want to maybe fine me or some kind of retribution? Because we can't have people you have to have a grading permit, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and under normal circumstances, yeah, you'd need a permit to bring in as much fill as they.
So we're just going to require them to get a permit at this point?
I believe so. Get a permit and provide information on what they've done. If they've done something wrong, they'll have to correct it. But as far as any fines.
Well, they've already done something wrong.
Yes. If they've done something wrong in the process of the fill, if there's, not clean fill, if there's, different debris that was in there that
Yeah, we
doesn't
don't know
provide a
what
suitable
was-
base, then
Yeah.
they would need to correct that.
They could have backfilled it with asphalt or something that's not real good for the environment.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's part of the information that we're requesting regarding that. And then if corrective actions are needed from, what they tell us and what we find out, then they'll need to make those corrections.
Mayor?
Mr. Seymour, the problem is we don't know who did the fill. If it's the current applicant or if it was the previous owner or
Yeah.
who put the fill in. So I understand what you're saying, but who do you go after? Is it the current person in development? He may not have been doing the fill. So I understand what you're saying, but I agree with staff that, they have to have
I'm
a
looking
permit.
at it from a construction point of view.
No,
You're
I
gonna
understand.
build-
And I think what we need, and I think what staff's doing is you need the permit, and we're going to have to come out and inspect it and make sure it's done correctly.
Right, that should be done by an engineering
Right,
firm.
right.
Geotechnical engineering firm.
Yes.
Wasn't this site just recently annexed? Like, just recently? Wasn't this one of the
believe
infill annexations? Like there was an old house back there. It's behind kind of like Arts or behind
Bill Service.
Bill's Service Center. Okay, I thought that was on. Maybe I'm
I don't
No,
think it was
imagining
that
that.
recent.
Yeah, it's been in the city forever. We did do it a little infill parking lot kind of by CVS at VMP. That's the only one I could think of that's even like that. But this has been in the city for a long time.
So how did we realize that this is what happened? Was this recently or
Yeah,
4 or
this-
5 years ago?
This was within the past 2 or 3 years. We
Well, who
realized
owned the
that.
property in the last 2 or 3 years?
What's that? Sorry.
Who owned that property? I would be asking those
The-
property owners.
The fillings started approximately when ownership changed around that same time.
Well, there you go. You know who to talk to. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, yes. Councilman.
I think this is one of those situations where we've got the cart before the horse, or the horse before the cart.
I've heard that phrase before.
You know, that line says may be required. At minimum, I want it to say shall be required. Secondarily, with no access to these townhomes, resulting in them not being able to sell them but only rent them, these folks are going to be in a pitiful shape to get to their residence, much less move in, move out, so forth and so on. And besides the comment about the fill, there are neighbors that are behind that property that have seen things go in there that they don't feel necessarily meet the standard of fill. And that's the reason that bringing that forward. And last but not least, are the trees staying to the rear of that property that separate the homes that have existed there for years behind that house? Are they staying?
I believe a portion of them are. I don't think all of them. I believe they have to do some grading to a certain extent up towards that property line. We do have a comment that they need to provide more buffer trees along the north and the west side, where the residential is. So I know that's not, the same as leaving mature trees, but it's what our code allows. So that is a condition that we have on there already. So can you look at that plan real quick, Spencer, and see how much trees are taken out?
We can get that during the regular meeting.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Okay.
I was saying, did not go through our recommendations. Staff is recommending approval of the rezoning, and we are recommending approval of the site plan. We do have a list of comments for them to address on the construction plans. Again, providing documentation on the fill, and, getting permits or doing corrective actions if that's necessary. And then provide the access easement through 409 Sondren Street to provide legal access to the back. So
They say they're preserving 20% exactly, which is what the ordinance requires.
I know for a fact the neighbors that live back there don't expect to keep every tree in place, but they sure as heck don't want to see a 20% line of trees left
Yeah.
after it's all said and done, especially since they're being put in a position to welcome rental property behind homes that they have spent money building, developing, upgrading, and so forth. I'm going to make a motion at the regular meeting that we table this till we get some answers.
okay.
With that, let's go on to the next item
Okay.
on the agenda.
Here's the site plan. You can see this is that access drive through the site in front of it. Sondren is running over here. You can kind of, here, let's see. I've got a closer view of it here. You can see where the tree line is running. I don't know if, yeah, you can see kind of where they're taking out trees along there for the building. So yeah, they're definitely removing, some trees along there. So And then here are the elevations of these buildings. These are the same as Shane Estates off Highway P, if you're familiar with that. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Okay. All right, new business, items 5A, 5B, and 5C. This is a request for a conditional use permit and site plan for Lee's Chicken with a drive-through at 988 Bryan Road. The applicant is proposing a building approximately 2,400 square feet for Lee's Chicken. They're sharing the access with the Dutch Bros Coffee that was constructed recently. And this is the last lot of that development. So the proposed hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit for the drive-through with our standard conditions. And we are also recommending approval of the site plan with some of the following conditions. Provide one additional parking space. Show how, that should say HVAC and mechanical units are being screened. And revise the landscape plan to reflect the required number of trees. As shown, 21 trees are required. So here's the site plan. This is the shared access here with the Dutch Bros. They've got the 2 drive-through lanes. And then, back to the access drive, White Magnolia and Bryan Road. Here are the elevations of the building. And this is one of the first buildings to use the aluminum composite material sheeting, the ACM panels that we recently changed the code to allow. So this will be one of the first ones to use that. So any questions on this one?
Doesn't look like there's any questions. Let's go on to the next item.
That's all we've got on the agenda.
All right, well, we will recess for about 5 minutes, and then we'll start the regular meeting. We will now begin the October 2nd, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Tracy, can you do the roll call?
Chairperson Carolyn Thomas,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Nunnery,
Present.
Mayor Hennessy,
Present.
Councilman Cascella,
Present.
Commissioner Howard,
Present.
Commissioner Seymour,
Present.
Commissioner Nager,
He's excused.
Commissioner Baust,
He's excused.
Commissioner Heath,
He's also excused.
Commissioner Link,
Present.
Commissioner Egemeyer,
Present.
Commissioner Holting,
Present.
Commissioner Hallbaker.
Present.
Mayor, will you lead us in the pledge?
Certainly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members of the commission, you have in front of you the agenda for this evening's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved, Nunnery.
Second, Seymour.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, the agenda for the October 2nd, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting has been approved. At this point during the meeting, we open it up for citizens' comments. We have one person who has completed a comment card to address the commission, Mr. Dienoff.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman and members of the Commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate. First issue I'd like to address is between D and E is missing approval of meeting minutes. I believe that's mandated by Chapter 89 and by Chapter 610 of the Revised State Statutes of Missouri. And I'd like to see that reinstituted and that the commission do what's normal in every other political subdivision, not only across St. Charles County, but across our great state of Missouri, where we have over 6,000 political subdivisions, including CIDs, TDDs, and NIDs, which are neighborhood improvement districts, community improvement districts, and transportation development districts, and they all approve their meeting minutes during the public and not to hide anything or be non-transparent with the public. The next issue I'd like to talk about is, I believe it's going to be tabled by you in a few moments, but it's high-density apartments and the use of townhomes, especially at Mexico Road and Canast roads in our city. We hired, as you all recall, a few years ago, about 3 years ago, a consultant to the tune of $138,000. He told you and city leaders that we are way too top-heavy in terms of residential and are very much lacking commercial to support sales tax increases and to pay for city services for our ever-growing city. As we grow southwest into the county, we need to look at density and to limit apartments and residential dwellings, and we need to home in and concentrate on commercial opportunities to grow our city. Now, it really concerns me the density of this development, and that development in that corner was reserved for commercial and for business uses. And so I would like to see you not rezone any of these properties, especially to apartments, that you keep our very few right now in our current confines, our current boundaries of our municipal corporate boundaries, that you keep intact our commercial zoned areas for what they're intended for. And so I ask that you look at that when you talk about the various agenda items, and there's another agenda item that I'll be testifying along with the other public hearings. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, with that, we will close citizens' comments. And the first item under old business this evening, we need a motion and a second to remove from the table. This is for the Pheasant Grove subdivision. Do we have a motion?
So moved, Nunnery.
Second, Howard.
All right, we have a motion and a second to remove the public hearing for 1,000 Landing Circle Drive, Pheasant Grove subdivision from the table. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, this item is now open for discussion. And again, this is a public hearing for 1,000 Landing Circle Drive, Pheasant Grove subdivision. This is for a request for consideration and motion of action on a preliminary plat for the property at 1,000 Landing Circle Drive, Pheasant Grove subdivision. Karen Brock Construction is the contract purchaser for a 5-lot commercial subdivision and 68 townhomes. Do we have someone here to present this item?
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Clayton Daniels. I'm with Cochran Engineering, and tonight I have here with me Greg Karenbrock, who's the developer on the project. And we're here to present to you Pheasant Grove. This is our landscape plan and preliminary plat that you see in front of yourself here. The site is 17.81 acres. It's located on the north corner of Highway K and O'Fallon Road. 5.62 of the acres of the proposed site are zoned C2 general commercial, while the remaining 12.19 acres are zoned R4 multifamily. We have 5 proposed commercial lots. Lot A is the existing fueling station, while lots B through E are all new commercial lots for the development. We have proposed 17 townhomes, which each contain 4 units, giving you 68 proposed residential units. And the previously approved landing at O'Fallon had proposed 204 apartment units, whereas we're only proposing 68, significantly reducing congestion and traffic concerns. Each townhome unit contains the 4 townhome units, And we are adhering to all O'Fallon R4 zoning setbacks. We did go to the Board of Adjustment to allow for a townhome plat, which just runs the property line down the shared wall of the townhomes. This gives the buyer the ability to own their lot and have their piece of land be theirs. The townhomes are all 2 stories, ranging from 1,200 to 1,700 square feet. And the residential portion of the site will have access to the clustered mailbox units that will be covered and lit, a dog park, and a community pavilion, which is all right there in the middle on the common ground. The site has 3 access points, 2 accesses onto Highway K and 1 onto O'Fallon Road via Landing Circle. And the developer, with talks with the city, has agreed to upgrade Landing Circle to a 39-foot wide roadway. Today it's only 27 foot wide, so he's adding in another 12-foot lane for the length of Landing Circle. We also have a 10-foot wide walking trail wrapping along the development, going along Highway K all the way down to the corner, wrapping O'Fallon Road and tying into the existing sidewalks. And our landscape plan shows required 94 street trees, along with 184 additional trees required per the tree preservation code. And at this point, I can take any questions if the commission has them.
Yes, Mayor?
On one of the conditions, it says you gotta have 2 of the buildings, commercial buildings. I would love to have, I'm not gonna force you, but I would love to have users in those, at least 2 of those units.
Yes, sir.
While you're still building?
Yep, that is very understood. When the developer, Mr. Karen Brock, is very eager to get end users in there as fast as he can. He doesn't want to have the profit out there in an empty building.
Right. The second thing, on your widening Landing Circle Drive,
Yes, sir.
I know they do parking on that, on Landing Circle now. There's still gonna be parking on Landing
No,
Circle?
there will not. They will not be able to park there.
Okay, I just want to make sure. and
Yep.
I guess you'll put no parking signs,
We can certainly do that if that's a concern.
because they've been parking there since
Yep.
that thing's been open, and, you know, habits are hard to break.
Yep, and we may have to talk to the owner there. They have a lot of parking that is not being used, so I think.
Understood, so I would suggest you put some no parking and talk with folks at the landing to make sure that there's no parking out there, because I know people go up there and visit their relatives and stuff, and, hey, there's a parking spot right on the drive, so.
Yes, sir.
And I do like going from 204 apartments down to 68 owned
Yes.
homes, so that's all I have, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Seymour?
Question, the lot lines, said they can own these individual townhomes.
Correct. They will own.
How do the lot lines run?
They run down the shared wall of the townhomes, so they will own their front yard and their backyard.
So they'll each have a 2-hour fire-rated wall on each side of the wall?
And we will adhere to all city code if that's, I don't get into the building side, but if that's per city code, we will have that, yes, sir.
And that's the way it's going to show on the record plat?
It will show that property line running down the shared wall, yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
This is a public hearing, so if you'll step aside, we have one person who's completed a comment card. Mr. Dienoff?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate. I'm going to be opposed to this application in this preliminary development, especially along our valuable and frontage of Missouri Highway Route K. In my opinion, I believe that this was another developer came before this commission and the city council and had a previous depiction or preliminary plat of how they wanted to lay things out. I don't know what happened to that developer, but I believe that they're building apartments at the corner of Feisey and Bryan Road. I'm not sure if they ran out of money. I'm not sure exactly how this new developer came into the scene, but we cannot give up our most valuable resource, our most valuable commercial zoning in our commercial districts that's going to forward our city in terms of making and generating new revenue so citizens don't have to pay a tax increase. So therefore, because of the frontage and because of the townhomes along the portion along Missouri Highway Route K, I will be opposed to this application and this project. I'm not opposed to the rearage having the townhomes, which would mirror the adult nursing home or the dementia nursing home for senior citizens or people who need that type of service. So that rear part of the property, I would not be opposed to. But because it's on the frontage of our most valuable resource, our commercial districts, this is our southern, this is the tip of our southern business district. And I believe that it needs to retain and have the commercial all the way across going north from Lot E as opposed on this map. The gas station, I guess that's the current gas station that we're talking about, Circle K. I'm not exactly sure who owns that property, if Circle K does, or if there's a long-term lease agreement with the current owners. What puts up a red flag for me is the floodplain, and especially the creek that's behind Duckett Creek Sanitary District headquarters, which is just north of this property. So I've been down there to a lot of meetings at Duckett Creek, to the Board of Trustees, and I've seen that property flood in the past. And so my problem is I believe they're going to require a permit from the United States Army Corps of Engineers to proceed with this project because it definitely falls within the floodplain. And so my question is, what is the mitigation plan? What is the retention detention plan for the property? A density is another issue. I think we're trying to cram too many townhomes on an acreage basis. 17 buildings. That's going to create 68 townhomes. So therefore, I oppose this application. I oppose us once again giving up our
Mr. Diener,
commercial opportunities.
your time's up.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, since that's the only comment card, we will close the public hearing and ask the petitioner to come forward and address the concerns of the resident.
And for Arnie's concerns here, we are already zoned the R4 multifamily and commercial. We're not asking for a zoning change. We're only requesting approval of the preliminary plats. We're not taking any additional commercial away from the city. And then the floodway concern, we are not in the floodway. We are in the floodplain. That does not require core permitting, but we will have to get a floodplain development permit from the city. And we do have a large detention basin in that common ground, so we will be meeting pre-verse post outfall of water from our sites. We will not be harming anybody downstream.
All right. Commissioner Howard?
Thank you. I live down in this neighborhood, in fact, kind of across the street. There's been a lot of fill go into this area. And that has me kind of wondering what the final elevations are going to be like. There's some very steep grades.
Yep.
And there is a creek that runs to the bottom of this. So I'm kind of interested in what's happening with all of that.
So unfortunately, this is a site that does require a lot of fill, and the developer has been bringing in fill to begin this process. Landing Circle is about 12 to 15 foot higher than where we're connecting on than Highway K. So we will have some grade running up to Landing Circle. It'll be about 10 foot higher than Highway K on our portion of the development than Highway K. But we're bringing in a lot of fill to make it a nice livable community is our plan.
Where the existing creek is that there's a small woods there.
Yes, it will be filled where we have townhomes, but in the middle where you can see we have the common ground, that will be a large detention basin where we're going down almost to existing grade. There will still be somewhat of a hole there for that detention basin, but we're leveling the site out to make it look nice and available for the end user.
One of the other things is that we need a 15-minute parking sign at the kiosks, and I didn't see where that was shown. The other thing was that you provided grading profiles
Yes, sir.
of the back section of this.
Yep.
And it shows fences, but fences aren't shown on.
We have since adapted with conversation with the city staff. They requested we remove the fences and use a tree buffer instead. And as you can see here, we will have a lot of trees back there for the 194 that are required of us. And if you can see right now on the screen, I have those profiles shown. So we've gone away from the fence and we're now using a tree buffer as suggested by city staff.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Members of the commission, anyone else have any questions or comments regarding this item on the agenda? If not, do we have a motion regarding this preliminary plat?
Motion to approve with staff recommendations, adding a condition, no parking in the entranceway at the landing.
And the 15-minute parking of the kiosks.
And the 15-minute parking.
We can do that.
Second, Howard.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
We also had the new condition we mentioned at the pre-meeting, provide a sidewalk along lot 16 along common ground access B.
Do you gentlemen agree with that, adding that additional condition? Your motion stands?
We can add that. The bus thing, was that already part of it?
No, they wanted to add it.
Okay, added.
Okay. You agree, and Commissioner
Fine.
Howard? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for the property at 1000 Landing Circle Drive, Pheasant Grove subdivision. Karen Brock Construction is the contract purchaser with the additional items of the sidewalk and the parking requirements for a 5-lot commercial subdivision and 68 townhomes. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you for your time.
The next item on the agenda, the applicant has requested that those 3 items for Stonebridge Commons be tabled until the November 6, 2025 meeting. This was a unified public hearing and comment for the rezoning, the area plan, and the conditional use permit for Stonebridge Commons. I, at this time, request a motion and a second to table these 3 items until November 6, 2025.
So moved, Nunnery.
Second, Seymour.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table the unified public hearing and comment for the rezoning, area plan, and conditional use permit for Stonebridge Commons. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, this item will be presented at the November 6, 2025 meeting. The next item on the agenda this evening is a public comment for a conditional use permit for 35 O'Fallon Square, the Brutini Lounge. Do we have someone here to present this item? Yes. Hi.
How do I do this? I've
Okay.
never done this before.
Give us your name.
My name's Jennifer Brooks.
And where, do you live here in O'Fallon? Or?
I live in St. Peters, but I have a business that is actually right next door to where I'm proposing this.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what you want to do, and then we'll have the commission. This is a public comment, and we have one person who's filled out a comment card. So after we're done here, we'll allow him to come up.
Okay.
But, go ahead. Just tell us a
So
little bit about it.
basically, I'm trying to open up a lounge, more of like a cozy lounge. It's going to have coffee in the morning, and then after 11 a.m., it would be more of a lounge of where no food is going to be served, but you can bring your own food in. And then also on Sundays, it would be closed for actual to the public and used for more of a event space.
Private parties or
Correct,
something like that.
correct. So more like a boozy coffee lounge, if you will.
All right. Members of the commission, anyone have any questions? I have one. So what specifically are your hours?
So it would be Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. And then Sundays, like I said, closed and just for private events. But 11 a.m. would stop the actual just coffee to anyone, and it would just be a lounge after that.
Okay. So alcoholic beverages.
Correct.
Yeah.
More like specializing in espresso martinis.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Seymour.
Thank you. Are you planning on having any live entertainment?
I am not.
Okay. All right.
More of just like a cozy area where you can sit and mingle with your friends.
I like your plan, though. I like your plan you submitted.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. This is a public comment.
Okay.
And we've had one person complete the comment card. Mr. Dienoff.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman, members of the commission. My name is Arnie C., A.C. Dinoff, City Public Advocate. I'm going to be in favor of this application. This is what I'm talking about, real economic development, things that are going to generate sales tax and bring in visitors and people to our city, especially our downtown district, which is desperately needing some business development, respurring, regenerating of some more development and business opportunities in our downtown area. I want to make sure that the owner goes through a background check with our police department, which I'm sure that'll be done and presented to the city council. But I also think this business needs to be treated like all the other liquor establishments in our city. State law, unless a charter city has other special requirements, can remain open until 2 a.m. I think that her hours should be, or that condition shall be expanded and amended to 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Unless, like in St. Charles City, their charter city, they have a special rule that says those bars can be open until 3 a.m., which exceeds the requirement of the state statute. But we don't have that in our charter, and we don't have that requirement. But I think that this individual owner needs to be treated on the same even keel playing field as all other liquor establishments, bars that are serving alcohol, either by the drink or by otherwise. And so therefore, I'd ask for that to be amended, and I'm in full support of this application. Thank you.
All right. We'll close the public comment and now allow the petitioner to come forward and address the concerns of the resident and any other questions that may come up.
So as far as a background check, I have to have that in order to get my liquor license. So that will be done before I can even apply.
Right.
And as far as the hours, being that we will be open at 7 a.m., it's more of just like a coffee, a boozy coffee lounge. It's more of just a place to relax. It's not going to be treated as entertaining. So it's more of just being closed at 11 because of, I can't even think of the words right now. I'm so nervous. Just more of not being treated as a regular bar. It is just a relaxing, chill vibe type of place.
Okay. Mayor?
To me, you're the owner. You decide when you want to open, when you want to close.
Okay.
To me, if you want to close at 11 o'clock, that's fine. If you want to close at 9 o'clock, that's fine.
Okay.
To me, you're the owner. You need to decide when you want to open, when you want to close.
Okay, thank you.
It's up to you.
Thank you.
I don't want to be up that late either.
As a mom of 4, I appreciate things closing a little early. It lets me go home earlier.
All right. So any other questions or comments regarding this item on the agenda? If not, do we have a motion regarding this item on the agenda?
Motion to approve for staff recommendations, Hennessy.
Second, Costello.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use permit for 35 O'Fallon Square, the Brutini Lounge. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
motion carries.
Thank you.
So when do you plan on having this open?
First of the year.
Okay, all right. Good luck with
All
everything.
right, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda this evening is a request for consideration and motion of action on a conditional use permit for the, oh, excuse me, wrong item. Next item on the agenda is a request for consideration and motion for action on a site plan for Lot B of Plat 10, Streets of Caledonia. THF 40DD is the development and the property owner for the Bank of Old Monroe contract purchaser for a bank. Do we have someone to present this item?
Yes, ma'am. Elliot Reed with Cochran Engineering, 530A East Independence Drive, Union, Missouri. Pretty simple site, bank, 4,400 square feet, 30 parking spaces. We will have access to the right-in only from Highway DD, and then there will be a common access drive that connects Dalriada to Caledonia Drive. This is the center of 3 outlots along DD. Next week, or next month, I will be in here for the adjacent 2 properties. One will be a Scooters, which is along the Dalriada side. The bank is in the middle, and then a Dobbs will be on the Caledonia Drive side. I agree with the statement earlier regarding the 10-foot wide walking trail. We feel that's excessive along the frontage of the site. There is a 10-foot walking trail on the Highway DD side as part of the Highway DD improvements, and there's no trails on either side going to the west down the residential, and there wasn't anything required for the mobile or the swim school over to the east side there. There's a 400-foot stretch here along DD that doesn't seem like a 10-foot wide walking trail to no connection that makes a whole lot of sense there. The access drive behind, which will also be on the site development review for next month, will have a 5-foot wide sidewalk that connects Dalriada all the way to Caledonia Drive, so there's access in the back there anyway. So that is the one, actually 2 conditions that we would like removed. The other one is a light at the intersection of the access drive and Dalriada. That is going to be on intersection improvements and infrastructure improvements on the developer. So if you can imagine, Scooters is its own development. This middle piece of the bank is what we're here tonight, its own development, and Dobbs will be its own development. There's a common access drive in the back that will be by the developer, and that's a different set of plans and a different approval. So that light that would be required on either end would be a comment for those plans, not the bank here.
Okay. Mayor?
Well, I'll agree with you, but I just need to check with these guys over here and make sure that's all right with what he's saying. I mean, so long as we want the light, but does it go on this one or does it go on the improvements for next month?
Yeah, I think we did get the plan for that. I think we could address it on that plan. I don't think that's an issue for us. I think
We submitted the improvement plans already.
I just want to make sure it's on there.
Yep, staff said we need to go through the actual site development review, which will be next month on that.
I just want to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks, that it's not, we had it on this one, but if it's on next month, I don't have a problem with that. I just want to check with you guys, make sure it's all right with that.
we're good with that.
All right. Yes, Commissioner Nunnery?
In that same vein, do you have a problem with eliminating this walkway?
I hear what you're all are saying, Elliot and Mr. Cascella, but we're just of the opinion there's really not a good reason not to put it in. It makes sense. People are going to be walking through there. There's residents that's wanting to go all throughout there. I mean, I get it doesn't go up over the highway to or to Winghaven, but we do believe Highway DD is going to get widened to the west, and there's probably going to be needs for more pedestrians, a trail going west on that side of DD. So I can't think of a good reason. I mean, I get what he's saying. There's not one to the east, but that's not a reason in my mind not to put one in. There's people going to be walking around there. They're going to be needing to get through. So we think it should be put in.
Commissioner Howard?
We've had different site plans come through here, and we've required almost all of them to put in trails or walks or something. And they're just a single lot in empty street, but as those lots build, that sidewalk gets built too. And if we don't do it now, then the city's gonna wind up having to pay for it sometime in the future. So I think that we need to continue with putting those trails and sidewalks in whenever they come up.
Is there any way we could pull up the, David, can you pull up the GIS with the aerial background?
What, Spence?
I don't believe that computer connects to the internet. Jason might be able to confirm that, though.
Bring in the reinforcements here.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes.
it's also worth to say that multi-use trail accommodates more than just pedestrians. A multi-use trail will accommodate bicycles and other modes of transportation as well, along with pedestrians, bicycles as well. And along Highway DD, as it expands, it would accommodate more than just pedestrians, as David said. This is not a sidewalk.
See if I can catch up here.
Where's it coming from?
So we're in the, thank you. Sorry about that. How many times I can point and click? So we're right in the middle there. This is the bank property and this is the right in. We will have a drive that connects all the way through here, that connects over to this drive that's existing. That will have a sidewalk on it. There's sidewalks all the way along Dalriada and along Caledonia Drive right here. The only access point to get across DD will be at the signal. There's not really a crossing at the roundabout. And there's a 10-foot wide trail over here that goes down to eventually O'Day Park. The homes along DD are already developed. There's not a 10-foot trail along here. And I don't see in the future where there would be a 10-foot trail or who would construct it and how. The trail that we're talking about would be a 10-foot wide trail along this frontage that goes from here to here. It does not connect off to the west and it doesn't connect to the east. And as they stated earlier, when these sites came in, it wasn't even a comment. And for the life of me, I can't imagine why this would need a 10-foot wide walking trail and this one would not. And this was not, this is the exact same condition as our lot here, which is at 17 feet lower than the intersection. So if grades were a main driving factor here, across the street would be the exact same situation. And having a 10-foot trail from here to here doesn't really make any sense for us. And on top of that, if it were be required, it would have to be down all the way along the site and then tie back in this way because it's not going to be up to the intersection. That would have to be all on MoDOT's right of way, which isn't going to happen along DD. So for those reasons, we just don't feel like that's doing anybody any good when you can cut straight across the back, which at 5-foot wide sidewalk would be required along the access drive here, which we have no problems with.
Mayor?
So Elliot, you said there's gonna be a sidewalk all around, basically around the whole property?
Yeah, there's a sidewalk here now along Dalriada. There's a sidewalk along Caledonia Drive. There's going to be a sidewalk that cuts all the way through the middle.
Is that on, but that's on part of the plans where the lights are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Correct.
right?
That's correct, yep. And it's, I apologize, I don't have my PowerPoint with me. The 5-foot wide sidewalk along this back drive is shown on the bank's plans. I mean, that's going to happen. It's shown on the Scooters plans, shown on the Dobbs plans. And that's not an issue, and that's the exact situation that happened here with Motor Mart. There's a 5-foot wide sidewalk back there along that street too.
I just think that it's just not necessary. It's not necessarily even a fact of, we don't want to spend the money to put 10-foot wide sidewalk strip. It's honestly going to go to nowhere. It will wrap down to the lower area, end up down in here somewhere, and then have to do another loop to end up back here. It just doesn't, it's not like it's going to end up at the intersection where you could just have connectivity. It's going to loop back that way. It doesn't make any sense.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Seymour?
Thank you. So we're supposed to put up a sign there that says no pedestrians beyond this point. You think anybody, whatever this property is totally developed, and you've got your property, you got a lot over here, there's a lot up there. Some of this has already been through P&Z and we've already approved it. We got apartments coming in here, we got a hotel going in there, we got residential over here, we got a soccer field going in. We've got a lot of people that are going to be migrating around this property. I think we need to provide as much pedestrian walkway as possible, because if you don't, who's to keep somebody from walking off that sidewalk and then walking around down DD? Nothing. I mean, if they want to do that, they're going to do that, but the
Absolutely
problem
nothing.
is you're right off the roadway surface. There's nothing there.
Correct. And if they
So
were walking
that's
down
why
DD,
I
they'd have
think-
the same situation. There was nowhere to go down
Well, I
here.
think city staff is correct by requiring you to do that. There should be sidewalks all around these properties for people to walk on. There should be crosswalks, there should be traffic lights for people's safety, if nothing else. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, what were you saying earlier about that was going to go down? I don't quite understand that.
This property on the corner is 17 feet lower than the intersection. There's a 3-to-1 slope that comes all the way down the bottom here. The sidewalk is not going to be on MoDOT's right-of-way, which is up at the higher part, so it would have to be down low, down in here. So it would come down in here and end up tying back into this road, which already has a sidewalk on it. If anyone needed to walk anywhere, they could walk down the existing sidewalk in Caledonia Drive, or they could walk down this new sidewalk down here and get over to Dalriada. If anybody needs to walk down DD, they would cross DD and end up on whatever trails they want over on the other side. This path right here that would end up looping from here to here doesn't do anybody any good.
David
And
had-
again, I'm sorry, but this is the exact same situation that was across the street, and there's no trail that was required over on this side. I know this ends up at the interstate, but if we're talking about connectivity, then there could be a 10-foot wide trail all the way along this where the soccer park is, and that wasn't a requirement for that side. It wasn't even talked about. There's plenty of connectivity. You can go any direction you want on any sidewalk around here. No problem.
Members of the commission, anyone else have any comments regarding this? Or David, do you want to address his comment regarding what?
Well, let's get a little bit comment.
I guess the only question I had, we've been talking to MoDOT on a different case, and I guess I'm not convinced they wouldn't allow it in the right of way, because I heard today they're allowing a retaining wall in their right of way. So I do think if it is going curling down like you described, which I didn't picture that being the case, but I do agree that would be kind of odd, doing that. But I do know MoDOT's allowed it in the right of way, and like I just said, they're allowing a retaining wall in the right of way when I got a call today. So I don't think putting a trail up there in the right of way is definitely out of the question.
Let's get through the public comment first.
This isn't a public comment.
It's only a site plan.
No? Okay. I have a comment.
All right, Mayor, go ahead.
Put it to you this way. I want to leave it in under the condition you got to go to MoDOT and see if you can put the trail in their right of way.
That's fair. I'm okay with that.
And the way I'm looking at it, if MoDOT says no, then we don't make you put it in. But if MoDOT says yes, you can put the trail in the right of way, then you put it in.
Fair enough.
But he wouldn't put it in, because he's only dealing with, that would extend beyond the property line that you're.
I'm just saying, whatever staff is having him put the 10-foot trail in on this piece of property, then that's fine. But if MoDOT says, no, you can't put it in there, then that condition goes away.
That would be the same condition, though, not up on the other two parcels, too. Basically, what he's saying is, we construct our 10 feet in front of the bank, Scooters constructs their 10 feet in front of Scooters, and Dobbs constructs their 10 feet on Dobbs.
And if MoDOT says, yes, you can put it in the right of way, then.
That's fair.
Then you put it in, and if MoDOT says, no, you're not doing it, then that condition goes away.
I'm okay with that.
So yours would be in the public, or in the MoDOT right of way as well? Okay.
David, you all right with that?
That sounds, yeah, we can work with that. It's something to work with at least.
I'm just trying to appease everybody. I mean, it's just trying, yes, we want, and I agree with Todd, we want to do the trails.
Sure.
For connectivity.
I understand.
If MoDOT says you're not putting it in, and I agree, I don't know how much, once DD gets widened, if it gets widened even anymore, going that way, so.
Deal with that then. No, I'm okay with that condition. That's all we can do.
Okay.
We'll ask and we'll see
Mr.
what they say.
Costello, you all right with that?
I'm better with that, yeah.
All right. With all that, members of the commission, do we have a motion regarding?
Hold on.
All right, Commissioner Howard?
We can close public comment on this.
This is not a public comment.
I have a question then.
did the same
In
thing.
regards to the right-in only that's into the lot, will there be signage provided restricting exit through?
Yes. Absolutely. We'll have probably do not enter signs on each side of it.
Okay. Then the other thing is there's a sidewalk on the shared drive on the back.
Correct.
And the sidewalk it leads towards the bank parking lot. And there needs to be a pedestrian hash mark, crosswalk.
Yeah, we can do that.
Two.
Across the drive-through there, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Do we have a motion regarding this item on the agenda?
Madam Chairman, make a motion for approval on condition 9, where it says provide the 5-inch sidewalk when adjacent to the curb, 10-inch wild trail. That needs to be, if it's approved by MoDOT.
On MoDOT's right away.
On MoDOT's right away.
Second, Nunnery.
Is that right? I'm right on the condition, right? Number 9?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that, well, Commissioner Howard, what you had said, we don't need to add that as a,
He knows he's got to mark it. He'll be fine with it.
okay.
I can mark it.
All right. So we have a motion for approval of the site plan with the additional requirement that the petitioner apply to MoDOT for approval to put the 10-foot walkway in the MoDOT right-of-way.
That's not an addition, that's just, condition 9 says they got to put the trail in, so this.
This is modifying that
Just
condition.
modifying condition number 9, saying.
All right, and we have a motion and a second to approve the site plan for Lot B of Plat 10, Streets of Caledonia, for the proposed use of a bank, Bank of Old Monroe, with the additional comment or condition modified. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
So does he have to go through David or through how does that?
We'll go on to construction plans if MoDOT allows him.
I'll do the coordination with MoDOT to get an official response from them, one way or the other, and then
But
I'll
then
coordinate it
to
with you.
notify city staff.
He's going to have the same problem on the other 2 lots, so.
Yep. I'll do the coordination, and I'll forward that coordination from MoDOT to staff for either the thumbs up or thumbs down from MoDOT.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for the rezoning of 507 Sondren Street. This is a request for consideration and motion for recommendation to the City Council regarding the rezoning of 507 Sondren Street from R1 Single Family District to R3 Medium Density Residential District for the proposed use of a residential development, as well as a request for consideration and motion for action on the site plan for this residential development. Do we have someone here to present this item?
Good evening. Jeff Simmons with Bax Engineering on behalf of Ella Real Properties. I do have the property owner here with me as well tonight to answer any questions we may have tonight. This property is kind of landlocked behind several commercial buildings and also adjacent to residential on the west and north. It is located in the downtown overlay district. It's currently zoned R1, and we are requesting rezoning to R3 medium density residential. As indicated in the pre-meeting, this will be the same product that is currently out at Shane Estates. There will be 2 8-unit buildings totaling 16 townhomes proposed on the site. Access to Sondren will be next to there's an electric, 5-Star Electric business here, and the property owner is currently working with the property owner of 5-Star Electric to provide that access. We could not find any, at this time, we couldn't find any legal access back to this property. But I've had discussions with the owner of 5-Star Electric, and I believe he's contacted city staff as well, and that is in process. One of the other things brought up was the fill. The developer is addressing that with city engineering staff. He's met with them, or one of his representatives has met with them on site. As far as what's placed there, I don't have any knowledge of that. However, we will make sure that geotechnical reports are produced that indicate the state of that fill and whether it's suitable or what kind of remediation might be necessary for development of this property. So this is what the proposed development looks like. The access, as mentioned, along the south, units facing each other, running north and south, with a detention basin to the north. The green areas are common ground. The darker green areas are tree preservation, and we will be providing additional trees, especially on the western property line. I believe city staff has a comment regarding additional trees, and we are proposing additional trees to the west. At this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mayor?
Jeff, you said there's 2-story, right?
Correct.
Yes. What's the topographical,
Oh, I got you.
From front to the folks that are living on Daniel?
Great question. I am not sure. There has been fill placed on the site. It will be 2 stories basically up from that elevation currently.
So
I don't have
folks that are up on the 2nd floor are going to be looking down at the folks on Daniel Drive?
On Daniel Drive. Similar to a 2-story residential if it was backed up. These just happen to be.
How much trees are you putting down there? Because I prefer the trees on there that they're not basically looking down at somebody's house on Daniel Drive.
So as I went too far. So over on the left side, you can see trees. As mentioned, we are going to provide additional trees. This was not enough, and staff has requested additional trees there. So we will make sure that that is well buffered.
I want it well buffered because I don't want those folks looking at the apartments, and I don't want the folks on the apartments looking down. Because the ones on Pittman, they're not going to see anything because you got the detention pond and everything else there. So
right.
It's a ways from there. But
We
Ones
will
on Daniel
ensure,
Drive, yes.
we'll ensure that behind this building there are additional trees provided, and we'll bring that to council.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments at this time?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Seymour.
thank you. Can you explain your access and how wide that access is going to be to this property and whether or not you're going to be able to get a fire truck up there? Or
Sure. We will be providing a 25-foot drive aisle, which does meet minimum fire code requirements, along with a 5-foot sidewalk. This will necessitate us relocating some of the parking spaces on the Mike's Electric, or 5-Star Electric, I'm sorry, and we've been discussing that with the property owner as well. So there will be adequate access for the fire department.
So you're going to take 5-Star Electric and move their property line over?
No, sir.
How much easement are you going to have there?
So it'll be a 30-foot of easement, over 30 feet of easement.
And your drive is going to be 26 foot wide?
25 foot wide, and then there will be a 4-foot sidewalk adjacent with a small green space.
How much is that reducing their parking in 5-Star Electric?
So we're along the side of the building. Let me see if I can get back to the aerial. Yeah. So along the side of the building, there are 6 spaces here. Those are going to be relocated back here.
Okay, that is where I have a problem. How close are you going to be to that building?
To the building?
To the building, right.
We're still going to be the sidewalks 4 feet plus those parking spaces were about 9. So we're going to be over 10 feet away with the edge of pavement, 12 feet away from the edge of pavement.
So from the building itself, not the building line, there should be a building line in there somewhere, some kind of a setback, building setback.
So this is going to be a private access. So part of this is because of the access, this will be like a private drive, like a parking lot, cross-access easement.
Right, and see, that's what I don't want. I don't want someone to go to their place thinking they're driving through somebody's parking lot to get to their house.
I'm not.
Well, what I'm saying is you're cutting it so close to that building, it's going to look almost like they're driving through 5-Star Electric's parking lot to get to their property, to get to their unit or whatever. This is all rental, so it would be get to their rental unit. I want to make sure that we're leaving enough.
What it will look like
for 5-Star Electric.
What it will look like is this will be a driveway like it is to the back. However, instead of parking spaces here, they'll have a parking lot. They'll have basically 2 separate parking lots, one with one access over here and one with one access behind the building. So it should look very separate and look like a drive to those apartment complexes. I'm sorry, the townhome buildings.
And you're going to have a 5-foot or 4-foot sidewalk or 5-foot?
4-foot sidewalk.
4-foot sidewalk. And that's going to run how close to that existing building?
So the sidewalk itself is going to be about 8 or 9 feet away from the building.
Yeah, see, that's crazy to me, okay? I'm sure that meets all city code, and David and his building department has looked at everything. But it's a little too close.
So what we have here is we need the ability to, anybody who builds anything needs the ability to be able to access this. One of staff's requirements was the driveway and the sidewalk and access, and we agree that there should be sidewalk access to the front. But that necessitates us relocating the parking spaces, and we've got limited working room.
Yes, I understand that. But I'm just saying, from a site plan point of view, there's certain criteria that the city requires.
And we meet those.
And as long as you meet that through the building department, through the planning department, I guess if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it, but I'm not really okay with it. It's a little too close. Anyway, thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Oh, yes, Commissioner.
A couple questions. So you have a parking lot on the north of the property there, and there's a fence just north of it. It says it's 4 feet high. Is that a privacy fence, or what kind of style of fencing is that?
We're talking about along the detention basin there, just
Sure.
north of the parking lot. So no, it's not a privacy fence because that's all part of that, the same, basically subdivision. Lights are not going to be extending through that, but if, we could make that a privacy fence if that's preferred.
Yeah, I mean, the concern I have is you have 3, 4 lots just to the north of this. It's a lot of spots there. People are coming back at night and headlights are on. That's one concern I have. And then also really kind of more on the northeast corner, outside of your detention basin perimeter, there's a lot of green space there and there's trees there right now. So why not just keep more of the trees in place to help break up some of that sight line as well?
Understood. I would love to. Unfortunately, the basins to control the stormwater do take up a fair bit of room. We are doing as much as we can to hold that back towards the site there will be a wall along the south side of the detention basin to help pull that back away from those property lines as much as we could.
Yeah, my only comment then is if you could make that a privacy style fence to block the lights going through, that would be my recommendation.
That'd be acceptable.
Okay, this is a public hearing, and we have one person who's completed a comment card. Mr. Dienoff?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairwoman, members of the Commission. My name is Ernie C., A.C. Dienoff, City Public Advocate. I have a few issues with this, but I have a real big safety concern with this property. I think a call needs to be made definitely to the Department of Natural Resources because I feel that the fill laws have been broken not only on the state level but also our city level. If you all recall, a couple years ago, the quarry came to you with a mitigated, calculated, and engineered plan of how they were going to use fill to restore that property for future uses and future endeavors. It was very calculated, it's very expensive, there's a lot of liability involved, and in this case, that was not done. That puts up a red flag for me about the property owner of what type of facility, what type of buildings that they're going to construct. If they're going to not fill the property properly with regulations, both state and local promulgated rules and regulations that are called for this type of fill, then I have some concerns about the quality of the building and the safety of the residents. So therefore, that's a big red flag right there on the surface. Rentals is another issue. We have way too many apartments right now in O'Fallon, and rentals is a big concern. Look at the Castellon apartments in terms of the crime, in terms of the gang activity, in terms of drugs that our county drug task force has to routinely serve search warrants in Castellon apartments a lot, in my opinion. The density issue. First of all, what is the density on 8,930 square feet and the 22,600 square feet of surface paved areas? I believe that this was calculated on the entire site, which 60% is green space. And so the density, I think, is way above what the city ordinance says in terms of the building footprint, in my opinion, unless somebody proves me otherwise wrong. The access and the parking is of concern. I think it's too much of a small lot to cram in there a lot of profitability and screw the neighborhood and screw the adjoining residents. The sidewalk is a must. The sidewalk connectivity must be a must, especially when you're talking about rentals and you're probably most likely going to have children. I'd rather have them walking and playing on a sidewalk than being in the roadway or vehicular traffic safety issues. The tree preservation, that needs to be addressed by you in a condition along with staff. And in addition to tree planting, I like the idea of the site-proof fence. In my opinion, I would believe that a type 3 landscape barrier would be needed in this issue. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
With that, we will close the public hearing and ask the petitioner to come forward, address the concerns of the resident.
Sure. I think I addressed a lot of that in the presentation regarding sidewalk connectivity, access, the fact that we will employ a geotechnical engineer to verify the fill. I think I've kind of addressed everything. If there's anything I haven't, just let me know, and I'd be happy to.
Yes, Commissioner Howard.
Madam Chair, thank you. When I look at the, pardon me, when I look at the site plan, it looks to me like the detention basin is discharging onto somebody else's property to the north. I mean, I'd have some real concerns about that because of the fact that it just, you know, some pump in a house discharging to the side yard can make it nothing but a swamp all the time. So can you explain how that's going to work?
Absolutely. Pretty similar to all detention basins built in the city. We need to make sure that we're mimicking pre-developed flows, holding that back so that it equals or is less than the pre-developed flow. So when this was green space, there is a natural draw through there, and that is where we will be discharging the detention basin. So it will all be built and constructed in accordance with the city standards and into that natural drainage way.
You said there's a natural what?
There's a channel there currently, and that's so all the water flows to this north of the site and then out through these other yards, and we'll be mimicking that flow.
It's kind of like a short creek or something like that?
I don't think it's quite the level of a creek. I believe it's dry. But yeah, it's definitely defined through there.
Thank you.
I have a question about the study that you're talking about doing regarding the fill. So what happens what exactly do you do when you do that, and what happens with your findings, and how is that dealt with?
So the geotechnical report or the geotechnical study will evaluate what's been placed, if it's been compacted properly. If it's not, it will have recommendations, and sometimes that includes removal and replacement of the fill that's been placed. Sometimes we can relocate that to different parts of the site and make sure it's compacted, but all of that is based on the recommendations of a geotechnical engineer, which I am not.
Mayor?
Well, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a condition that you get no building permits or anything until the geotechnical is done.
Absolutely.
And approved by city staff. So there's nothing can be done until you have the geotechnical, the way the city staff says, okay, now you can have your building permit.
Does that also include anything that could be potentially, I mean, that study, would that look at whether it's any hazardous material of any kind, or?
Sometimes that's done, sometimes it's not.
Should that be done?
I don't know. I have not seen the fill that's been placed. I can't speak to that.
Stephanie?
I would go ahead then and make that part of the same condition. That the geotechnical analysis include an analysis as to whether there's been any hazardous materials as part of that fill.
Got that, Tracy?
I mean, that would be one of my, besides obviously.
Oh, I agree.
My biggest concerns, besides obviously whether the building's going to stay upright, so.
Madam Chair.
David, did you have something about that?
I was thinking I was agreeing with that. So nothing new to, sorry about that.
Commissioner Seymour?
Thank you. Also, we need to include that whatever agreements or easements have to be completed, and record plat has to be applied for or at least issued. Any access to this property through 5-Star Electric or whatever, all that has to meet the city setback requirements from other structures, and that all needs to be with David before
Right.
anything happens.
There will not be any plats on this, but we will provide easement documentation. There's a way to do that without platting it.
And we do have a condition on that already that covers that.
Correct.
Right, I've seen that.
Okay.
But we need to have more than just what's up there.
Mr. Nunnery.
Oh, Commissioner Nunnery?
I still remain committed to the fact that we put shall instead of may in that condition language, because putting may leaves a loophole wide enough to drive my bus and 3 other cars through.
I agree, sir. You know what he's saying?
Which condition, or are you
It
talking
says
general?
that you may, I think with the geotechnical, you may have to do it.
Oh,
I think
shall
we're
shall.
saying instead of may, you can put shall in there.
Correct.
So, well, we may do it, may not do it.
Shall do it.
I would also request that, depending how this goes forward here, that we get any updates from city staff regarding this project, because I'd like to.
That's them.
David? Yeah, I would just like to know what happens regarding this, if it does go forward here, regarding this geotechnical. I'd be interested to know.
Okay. Yeah, we can, once I get that, I'll make a note to make sure we share that. Not a problem.
Updates.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions or comments at this time from the commissioners? If not, do we have a motion regarding, the first item is the rezoning.
Make a motion to approve the staff recommendations, nunnery.
Second, Howard.
Okay, so this is, the first item we're going to, we have a motion regarding is with the rezoning, so the conditions we'll put on to the site plan, correct? All right, so we have a motion and a second for a recommendation of approval to the city council regarding the rezoning of 507 Sondern Street from R1 Single Family District, a residential district, to R3 Medium Density Residential District for the proposed use of a residential development. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, so this motion is for a recommendation of approval to the city council, and this will be heard at next city council meeting next Thursday night.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right, the next item for this project is the request for consideration and motion for action on the site plan for 507 Sondern Street for the proposed use of a residential development. Do we have a motion regarding this item?
Motion to approve the staff recommendations as amended by the mayor's language, and language that strikes may to shall, the study, as well as the mayor's comments and the update that we will be getting on.
And the lawyer's update.
Yes, we'll throw her in there too.
Okay, let's get a little more specific on
Well,
this, because I want to make sure
I
that
think what it
everybody's
is
clear on
with,
this.
with Mr. Nunnery's, that instead of may, it says shall,
Shall have a
geotechnical.
geotechnical study.
And no permits allowed until the geotechnical study has been approved by city staff. And what else was there, stuff?
Well, it also,
Include in the study as to whether there's any hazardous materials in the fill.
And the hazards.
so not, yeah, to cover both how the material is compacted as well as if there's any hazardous materials,
Yes, ma'am.
so.
And the
Okay.
future updates.
And, yeah,
Well,
that's
that
what
won't
just,
be a condition,
yeah,
that's just something David will bring.
yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second.
Did we have a second?
Oh, did we have a second?
Hennessy.
Hennessy,
Thank you.
okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the site plan for 507 Sondern Street for proposed use of a residential development with the additional requirements regarding the geotechnical study as outlined by City Council.
You want to do more specific?
Yes, I think we got specific. I just wanted to make sure. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda this evening is a public comment for a conditional use permit for Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at 988 Bryan Road. This is a request for consideration and motion for recommendation to the City Council regarding a conditional use permit for Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at 988 Bryan Road for a proposed drive-through restaurant. Also, this also includes the motion, request for consideration and motion for action on a site plan for Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at 988 Bryan Road. Do we have someone to present this item?
Good evening. My name is John Shabaum. I am a civil engineer with BFA representing Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. So we are here tonight to be that final infill development at 988 Bryan Road, just south of Dutch Brothers. So we are here for a conditional use permit because Lee's Chicken does have a drive-through use, and then for site plan approval also. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, members of the commission, any questions or comments regarding this item? Mayor?
Time frame.
They are looking to construct in the spring of 2026 and hopefully be open Q2 of 26.
3-month build.
Probably 90 to 120, yeah, 3 to 4 months.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Have you guys built a building with this particular material that you're building for this one, proposing for this one?
So this is a new image for Lee's Chicken. They are working on several remodels throughout the greater St. Louis area right now. This will be the first of this prototype that I'm aware of, so we are working with staff. That's why we have some conditions in here for the materials being used and screening. Those are things that our architect team is currently working through right now.
Okay. All right, thank you.
O'Fallon always likes to be first.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is a public comment, and we have one person who's completed a comment card. Mr. Dienoff?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, members of the commission. I've got some good news and some bad news. I'm not exactly sure what the answer on the tax situation is, but I can't support or reject this issue. I am tired of going to St. Peter's on Mexico Road because I am a Lee's fan and I love their food, especially their chicken pot pies and their chicken fingers. But I looked on the map and I can't find through the state auditor or the State Department of Revenue as of I have to do some more in-depth looking, but hopefully this Lee's Chicken does not fall in a special taxing district known as a Community Development District, a CID, or a Transportation Development District known as a TDD, which both charge 1% extra sales tax on top of our current city sales tax, county sales tax, and state sales tax. So I'm not a proponent of making developers more richer by citizens of our city paying on the backs of their shoulders sidewalk development, roadway development, infrastructure, gas lines, sewer lines, water lines. I think that needs to be paid by the developer and not on the backs of our residents. And for our residents to pay 1% additionally or possibly 2% additionally, like they do on Wentzville Parkway in Wentzville, I think is totally bizarre, totally wrong, and totally insensitive to our residents. So for those reasons, I like the site plan, I like the food, I like their concept, but if it's going to be inside another taxing district, raking our citizens over the coals, digging deeper into their pockets, as we all know, our O'Fallon residents pay 57 cents, goes to some form of a tax or a fee at the federal, the state, the county, in the special districts such as education, ambulance, fire, library district, and other agencies, in addition to CIDs, community development improvement districts, transportation development improvement districts, and neighborhood improvement districts that people don't know because there's no sign saying, hey, look, you're coming into a special district and you're being charged more taxes, cough up more of your earnings and more of your money. So those reasons, I cannot make either a recommendation for or against. Thank you.
All right, with that, we will close the public comment and ask the petitioner to come forward. Members of the commission, any other questions or comments regarding this item on the agenda? If not,
Done quickly.
Will do.
yeah.
Thank you.
If not, do we have a motion regarding the conditional use permit for this property?
Madam Chair, I make a recommendation of approval based upon staff conditions.
Second, Nunnery.
All right. We have a motion and a second for a recommendation of approval to the City Council regarding a conditional use permit for Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at 988 Bryan Road. RCPN LLC is the property owners for a drive-through restaurant. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
Also, for this item, we have a request for consideration and motion for action on the site plan. Do we have a motion regarding the site plan for this piece of property?
Motion for Hennessy.
Second, Link.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the site plan for Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at 988 Bryan Road for the drive-through restaurant. Members of the commission, cast your votes.
Voting is closed.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. There are no items on the consent calendar, so at this time, we will ask for a city council action update.
Yes, there were three things from our last P&Z meeting that went to council over the last month, and they were all approved. That was for the tattoo shop in OFallon Plaza. The gas station at T.R. Hughes and Public Works Drive was approved. And then the other item was the Mylan Bush Auto Sales on West Terra. All that was approved.
Okay.
Carolyn,
Yes, Commissioner Nunnery?
unless my information is incorrect, and it could be, somebody will be celebrating a birthday tomorrow.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
And he's just getting younger and better every day.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. You introduce a new member?
Yes, we do have a new member to the commission. Would you like to give us your name and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Lane Hawbaker, and I work for Edward Jones, project manager there, and I'm glad to be here.
All right, welcome. We look forward to many years with you, right? All right, with that, we will adjourn the October 2nd, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.